Do I have permission to record?
Yes.
This is Terry Graham. I have asked her to join me for this career conversation because she works for SDSU on the board and gives advice to business students. So she'd be perfect for this. Um, I prepared questions in advance. Some of your discussion might be spontaneous depending on what we share. Uh, I just want you to explain what your work is, what your role is.
Okay. So I currently sit on the board of Sprouts Farmers Market, and I'm the former chief marketing officer for Jack in a Box. I was there 22 years, and I've been at Sprouts for 12 years.
Okay. How has your approach to relationship building or networking at work changed over time?
Yeah, networking is so important in anyone's career. And I think what's changed over time is not to be intimidated by it and to take the perspective of you're making friends in the workplace. That's really a simpler way to kind of approach it. And I also think it's really important that you view it as from a curious perspective and being interested in the other person. So anytime you're networking and you have the ability to prepare ahead on the person or the company, that's really important. And I'd also say over time, there are key things you have to demonstrate when you're networking: confidence, being a great listener. A listener is actually more important in networking than actually what you're saying, and your appearance. It matters.
So, just reiterating what you said, being curious about people and actually being interested in them, that's probably the most important thing for networking, you'd say.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. What makes someone memorable to you, either positively or negatively, in interviews or professional conversations?
So, one thing that I think is important when you're interviewing is to be able to, they're going to say, tell me a little bit about yourself, to be able to have a personal statement about yourself that can talk about what your career interest is, your degree, and any skills or strengths that you have that you want to make sure you say. And then adding something a little personal about yourself. I think it's important. That helps make it memorable. So if you can just simply state a personal interest or hobby when you're interviewing, I think that will help you. And also just know, as far as negatively, the worst thing you can do is not have any questions for the other person. You have to have questions. So that means you have to prepare ahead. And don't be distracted. You need to be focused during the interview. Otherwise, that'll come across negative too. Those would be my key tips on both positive and negative.
Um, sorry. What are examples of questions that you would ask in an interview?
Um, it's important to ask questions about the company. So you do some homework on the company. And I think it's always good, anything that you can pull up and just ask about that particular company that you've read about. So you could have a conversation with the person on the interview. And also then any questions that you can dig up regarding the specific job you're trying to, pursue would be helpful. So if you can, think of things that you want to ask about the culture, what's the environment like, why do they like the company, things like that, I think would be really helpful.
How do you continue to grow your skills and knowledge in a changing workplace?
Well, I really believe if you want to succeed in your career, you have to be a lifelong learner. So that means I still to this day attend conferences and go to workshops. I read business books, or you can listen to podcasts. Um, and also you can learn from from others in the room, in your meetings or working as a team. If you're constantly, if you will, sort of paying attention to who's doing well, why are they doing well, and sort of focused in on that. Those are things that you can do over time.
I have, um, oh, what are some like books or podcasts you would recommend to
Ooh.
people, like students trying to learn things that you
What
wanted to
you,
learn before when you
yeah.
were my age?
Yeah, I think, believe it or not, reading the Wall Street Journal, and then finding, depending on what your interests are, then you find who are the key podcasts to listen to. Um, but I think so it's going to depend on the industry, but of course, you could look up real quick on Apple, what are the top podcasts for that particular industry or category, and they list them all the time, who's key out there to listen to. But as far as reading goes in business, it's definitely the Wall Street Journal.
Okay, perfect. When you faced a new skill or role, uh, did you not feel confident in? How did you bridge the gap?
That's a great question. So again, it's about getting educated, and sometimes you need to take a class or learn something online. There's lots of stuff out there on ways to learn. YouTube,
Yeah,
believe it or not, all of that can help you stay educated. I've also say one tip I would throw out, depending on what it is you're trying to learn. If you know someone who's good at it, offer them to take them to lunch or grab them a coffee and see if they can help you with how they learned about these things that you want to be better at. Maybe some tips they can give, some advice, something you should read or watch. They might be able to give you some stuff that you wouldn't find otherwise.
have you ever done that before?
Yeah, I have. I have. And I always had mentors. So I was really good about making sure as I was moving up that I reached out and would have mentors. And the key there is that you're careful with their time, and you work around their schedule. And so if they wanted to meet really early, then that's what you would do,
Yeah.
even if you're not a morning person. But mentors are really helpful in business.
How do you maintain boundaries and sustain your energy over the long term?
Well, it's really critical to exercise and to try and get enough sleep. Of course, eating healthy doesn't hurt either. But I also think just little things like taking moments of mental breaks, like listening to some music, playing with your pets. I personally find working in a garden helps me with my soul and my energy. Or if I'm at work and it's been a long day or I've been on Zoom calls all day, I'll just step outside and look at, get some fresh air for a minute. All those things I think can help with your energy. And you have to do these things or you'll burn out. So it's really important to do.
Yeah. Well, as your son, I've seen you do all these things, and I know that it's good for you to take breaks because it's hard to find them in the workplace.
Yeah.
What skills or approaches do you think will be essentially important for thriving in the future workplace?
It's interesting. This is a big conversation that's taking place out there, and a lot of conversations I'm having with the students that I help mentor. There is no doubt that AI is the most critical topic right now. It's a topic in the boardroom. It's a topic in all industries, and it's certainly a topic in education. And it's not just using it like a search engine. It's understanding how to prompt engineer the questions that set up the data so that it can make a difference and you get the most out of these large language systems. So AI by far is the most important thing you could learn right now and how to use it really effectively and for your, it's really going to make a difference in your career the better you are at it. I would add the people skills side of it. Um, Someone's still got to make decisions. Humans are still going to be making decisions and critical thinking. So that's not going to change. You're going to have all this data in front of you that's put together a lot faster and easier for you, but you still have to be able to make problem-solving critical decisions. And I will also say, I don't think it's ever going to go out of style. People skills, leadership skills, all that matters. It's still going to matter even with AI. And so, whatever you can do to improve your leadership skills is going to give you an edge over others.
Thank you. Do you have any last comments or career advice for me?
Oh, I think it's really important that you follow what you love because it will make work that much more simpler in terms of the stress that it'll cause and things of that nature. But if you love what you're doing and you enjoy it, it'll help you when you go through it for the long journey. So it's super important that you find something that you really enjoy, because then it won't feel like work.
Well, thank you for participating. Appreciate
You're
it.
welcome.